Man, that's real. That's real, real cool. Now we could talk about that a little bit. I mean, you an actor, but you also accomplished writer.
Yeah,
Man, could you tell us about some of the projects you done worked on, or some you working on now, or some you got coming up?
yeah. Well, I'm currently in a writing program with Sony Pictures Television, and one of my scripts was accepted to this program. It's a program that you can only be nominated to, so other people in the industry have to nominate you for that. And so uh, um, I was fortunate enough to have been nominated and been accepted to it. And so yeah, so I've got four original pilots that I've written since 2015, along with a couple of movies that I've written as well. But it started, well, I mean, I always, you can't wait for people to give you anything. So in the theater, I began to write for the theater just because there were characters I wanted to play and stories I wanted to tell. Um, but I spent 7.5 years as a stand-up comic, along with what I was doing in the theater. I was moonlighting as a comic when I wasn't doing plays because I didn't want to have a job uh, working in a restaurant or anything else. And prior to that, I was writing sketch comedy and doing that back in Houston as well. So all those experiences led me back to what I was creating in the theater as a solo artist, um, monologues, which I gained some insight as to how to do from my time working as a comic. Um, um, but then, we started doing TV and film more and more. Uh, I don't like to not know how to do anything. So I went back and got my master's of fine arts in writing for the screen. And so that's what I've been concentrating on here for the past 7.5 years. Um, um, and yeah, so I've been writing a bit, and yeah, I just finished this other piece, and uh, I got one I got to go back and revisit because now, and I thought about it last week, and it's it kind of sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. It's just it can be better. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's just as an artist, whatever grabs hold of me. If a story won't let me go, that's when I know I have to write it. And so yeah, so that's it.
Wow, wow, that's real cool. I mean, you touched on comedy. Now being a stand-up comedian yourself, now you got a chance to work with Chris Rock, one of the greatest.
Yeah, Chris and I have. Um, it was very interesting. There's this little comedy club back in Houston. It's called the Comedy Place. And when it first opened, Chris headlined it. Little small room. This was back in 88, 89. And then I headlined it. I was the first local comic to like headline it, but it was a week after he did it. And then he and I met up again, and we worked on Fargo, season 4 of Fargo on FX and Hulu. And so yeah, we had a great time. I think my role was the last villain that came on the show. And we had a good time working together. So yeah, that was cool. And then went on after that to do the show I'm currently on called The Bear, which is also on FX and Hulu. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now I don't know if you are you allowed to talk about it since you on the show currently? Can you just speak about what has that experience been like? Cause that's a great show, man.
Yeah, I can talk about it. You know, my union is kind of, you know, off the rails right now with this whole strike thing. But I can talk about the show. Yeah, it's a great show to be a part of. And first season, second season, it was just kind of going back to South Park. When I was going to read for the part, I didn't know if I wanted to read for it first. And my manager was like, "No, I really think you should read for this." And then I couldn't find a reader to read the scene with me, so I sent the audition in as a monologue, um, the whole scene as a monologue, and they were like, "Oh, well, can you send it back?" And it turned out that the creator of the show had seen me in a play in Chicago 5 years prior and said he always wanted to work with me. And so again, the universe, and so yeah, so I got the part while I was in Tucson and went to Chicago and we filmed there. It's been a great experience working with Christopher and Joanna who created it. Jeremy and Io, who I say is beautifully out of her mind. That's how I describe her. Uh, Eben and um, uh, Liza, who plays Tina, is an old friend of mine from the theater back in New York. Abby and Maddie, and actually Lionel, who plays Marcus, is part of Odd Future. He's part of Tyler the Creator's crew. A really really great cat, and we always make a date to go and have dinner and just chill, the two of us. Um, but yeah, it's a great show, great time. We had a lot of really great people on the show. This past season, Jamie Lee, who gave us all this kind of cookbook. Olivia Colman, who's one of my favorite actors in the UK. And the great Robert Townsend was also there. And I had to tell him what Hollywood Shuffle meant to me. I told him, like that piece was like a love letter to a brown skinned artist. And I was able to navigate 20 years of my career just from that piece. He created in 93 or something like that. But yeah, or I forget when he created that, but it just, he's a godfather. Folks need to get hip. And then another young, a Will Poulter was also on the show. So yeah, really, really great time with a lot of fantastic people. And it's a great show. Hopefully it's been received real well. I haven't seen season 2 yet. I've been kind of busy. So I gotta get around to seeing season 2. So yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, Hollywood Shuffle, man, that is like a blueprint because I could just imagine some of the challenges that a person that's trying to make it into, the arts and entertainment or writing and acting, may face. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Robert Townsend, man.
No doubt, no doubt. And just what you can expect and how you need to hold on to yourself, you know. Yeah, that's one of those things that's kind of tough to do in this business, to remain who you are. And so yeah, um it was good. But yeah, it's a good show. Um and I get to play a character, like a lot of people talk about characters from England playing roles here in the States. Well, if you watch The Bear, I sound nothing like Ibrahim at all. So I don't get caught up in all that stuff. It's you do the gig, you do the gig. Now there's some nuances to why we are not allowed to tell our stories here. You know, it's kind of like we have a whole different idea of how things should go in some respects. Uh, but our accent is also, the U.S. thing is easy to copy, a lot easier to copy than something else. But yeah,
Indeed.
yeah. But I like playing this. I like playing. I like playing the character because he's so far from me, and get to tell his story.
Indeed, indeed. So I got one last question for you now.
Yes, sir.
For the viewers that's checking this interview out, do you have any words of wisdom, for anybody that's considering the arts as a profession?
Uh, I always say, well, there are two things. Sit alone with yourself in a room all by yourself and have a really serious discussion with yourself about what you can do without. Because you have to do without some shit. If this is what you want to do. If you want to be a movie star, I mean, I don't know about movie star stuff. I consider myself an artist. I mean, the stuff comes with it, and I'm cool with that. I think the other thing is to define success for yourself, uh, not success relative to what anyone else has, because I consider 103 theater productions and staying busy for 42 years as pretty successful. Does it equate to money necessarily? You know, you know, not all the time, but you know, nobody works all the time. You know, you're gonna work far less than you're gonna not work far more than you're gonna work. That's just kind of how the dice roll. Um, South Park. Uh, oh, but yeah, those two things, and just have a blast, man. Just have a blast. From the moment I heard the first song by Prince, when I was in ninth grade. That's been my litmus. Um, and Chris and I talked about it. Whenever you get tired, you think about, well, Prince is probably still awake making music, so let me get to work. and but just to know, you go back, you listen to that first album. When I heard it, I realized he was like 18, 19 years old, which means he was like 5 or 6 years older than I was at the time. So that meant that things were possible. And so that's, things are possible. So, attack it that way and enjoy the ride, have a fucking blast.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what to say, man, because like you say, 40 years plus, some people they don't even work at a job that long. They may do the factory thing, but in the back of their mind, they got something that they really love, like you say, something that you
Yeah.
can't live without. And if they're watching this interview, man, I hope they take it straight from somebody who's doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Today is, my 59th birthday. And I always say that if you love what you do, you don't age. Um, and so I'm just, I mean, I don't count numbers, but I only say that because I only bring it up because it's what this is what it's supposed to look like. And so just be happy, you know. Uh, be happy, it's gonna ebb and flow. It's gonna ebb and flow. But that's what life does.
Yes, indeed. I want to wish you a happy birthday first and foremost. It's definitely an honor to have you on the show. I appreciate you taking out the time, even especially on your birthday, man. Thank
Have
you
you
so much.
I had a spa and a massage earlier. A little mama got that for me. So I just got back, and now I get to be here. I'd much rather work on my birthday than anything else. But yeah, but it's only a number that I bring up so that people understand what happiness looks like.
Oh
Other than
yeah, oh, yeah.
other than that, it don't really mean a lot to me.
I
But
can dig it. I can dig it, man. Let
yeah,
me see. Um, I just want to thank the viewers for tuning in. We definitely look forward to the projects that you have coming up because I know you got some more, stuff you're gonna be working on for years and years to come. So,
yeah, yeah.
thank everybody.
Also
Yeah.
check out Unprisoned, which is also on Hulu. It's a series I did with Kerry Washington and Delroy Lindo.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I'm gonna check that one out. I ain't seen that one.
yeah. So that's it's good to work with Delroy and with Kerry, and they're very wonderful. Tracy McMillan created, and Yvette Lee Bowser, who created Living Single. She's the showrunner.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another joint that I hope people get to go and look at, because that's
All
us.
right.
Yeah, that's us there.
All right. All right. So until next time, family, thank you again. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a phenomenal episode of Taye Speaks. So until next time, peace.
Stay at it.